Every developer is using console quite a lot, because even for the small project we need to start quite a lot of web services. For example, web service for frontend, backend, then you need to start your database, probably look in some logs, maybe console, which means you have quite a lot of tabs. And if you're working in the team, you typically have several projects that you need to start simultaneously to run the application. And typically you have exactly the same problem like with tabs inside Google Chrome. You have a lot of them and you don't know how to find exactly what you need to, and it's not organized at all. This is why in this video you will learn how to organize all your tabs and projects by using Tmux in your terminal. So what is Tmux? Tmux is a terminal multiplexer, which means it's a program to create splits and tabs inside your terminal. And at this moment you probably want to say, okay, but I'm using something like iTerm or any other terminal. Normally they all can work with splits and tabs. This is why the question, why do we need to use new tool? And here are two main features why you want to use Tmux over plain terminal. First of all, we can organize projects with the help of Tmux inside our terminal. Second important point is sessions. So actually inside Tmux we can easily switch between different sessions and we can store the state of all our tabs inside each session. And even when we switch between different sessions, we can always return to our previous state of some session. And let's look at the example how it all works together. So here on my machine I have installed Tmux. This is why here in console I can write Tmux new -s and then some name, and it will create for us a new session. Let's say that we are developing an application where we need frontend and backend. Then it makes sense to create two sessions, one for frontend where we will have all tabs related to frontend and one for backend. In this case here we can write Tmux new -s and here is frontend. And actually I always use -s because in this case we can set a name. We can obviously write Tmux new, but then we can't provide a name, and name is important for us to know what this session is about. After hitting enter, we are jumping inside Tmux. This is why you can see on the bottom the name of our session, it is frontend, and here the first tab which was automatically created. Now to work with Tmux we need to use a lot of keybinds, and for us the most important keybind is Ctrl+B. This is the default prefix of all our keybinds. And actually as you can see we are already inside Tmux session. And at some point we want to go out of it. This is why I am hitting here Ctrl+B and then D, which means detach. In this case, as you can see, we are detached from our state and we are back inside terminal. So we are not seeing Tmux anymore. Now let's create another session. So here we can write Tmux new -s and here let's name it backend. I'm hitting enter and it creates backend session and attaches to this session, which means we are inside this session. And now is the most important for us command. We can hit Ctrl+B here and then S, which means session. And as you can see here, we are seeing all our sessions that we have inside Tmux. And we have only two of them, this is backend and frontend. And we can see that we are attached now to our backend session. And here, by using arrow key, we can simply select another session and hit enter. And as you can see now, we are directly inside our frontend session. So why it is that important? Just imagine that we have here frontend, so we can open here like editor, web server, then maybe some logs for frontend, and all tabs that you want. So for example, you have here like 5 or 7 tabs. Then we can jump directly to backend and open there all tabs which are related to backend project. In this case, we don't mix them at all, we have separate session for different things. And here is the most important thing which really makes Tmux amazing. All these sessions are stored inside memory. And actually as you can see we can write here for example echo foo, which means we show some information inside our frontend. So here as you can see we have some state inside our session. Now we're hitting Ctrl+B, then S, we're switching to another session and we're doing something here, for example echo, and here we can write maybe backend. And now we simply have two different sessions and we're storing the state inside them. So all our tabs, all our files which are open there are still there, but we don't see them and they don't bother us. And now we can simply change our session and jump back and we can see all this output here without any changes. And even when we detach completely from the Tmux with Ctrl B and here is D to detach, so I'm not in Tmux anymore, these sessions are still there and we can jump directly back there with the state that we had previously. And to do this we can write Tmux attach, then -T, and here we provide the name of our session. This is why it is important to provide a name. I'm hitting here enter, and as you can see we're back inside Tmux with exactly the state like we had previously. Now, if you want to configure Tmux for you, I want to say that it won't be that easy. You need to learn some keybinds and how you can create config and so on. And if you want to take my config, I will link it down in the description box below together with my Vim config. But actually there are not that many Tmux commands that I'm using every day. First of all, we're creating a new tab, and for this we can hit Ctrl B and then C. And C means create. And as you can see here on the bottom, we now have two tabs, 1 and 2. The next important thing is to rename these tabs. In this case, you can easily find what you are doing in this tab. And to rename our tab, we're hitting Ctrl B and then comma. And as you can see, we have here an editing of our name. So by default, I have here ZSH. I can change it, for example, on web server. Here you can provide any text that you want. I'm just hitting enter and now we see nice name. So we know that inside this tab, we probably will start our web server for the backend. The next question is obviously how we can switch between tabs, and the easiest way to do this by using number. As you can see here we have number 1, number 2 and so on. So actually to switch between tabs I simply use Ctrl B and then 1 if I want to jump to first tab. Also, actually I don't like the default prefix Ctrl B, this is why I remapped it inside my config to Ctrl space, because it's more easier for me to click Ctrl space and not Ctrl B. But it is your own preference, so use what is comfortable for you there. Also, sometimes you want to split a window, and for this I have two custom keybinds. So actually I'm hitting Ctrl B and then pipe, and I have here vertical split. If I want to do horizontal split, I'm hitting Ctrl B and then dash. And actually this keybind makes a lot of sense because pipe is looking like vertical split and dash is looking like horizontal split. And here is one advanced Tmux bonus for you. Actually, by default, Tmux can't store any sessions between reloading of your computer. And actually, I don't want every single time to open all tabs and all projects that I need. This is why I have a special bash script. And as you can see, this is how it looks like. So normally I am copying it in every project that I have, and I simply execute it with letter T inside this project. So the main idea is that we are checking here if we have the session, and here is the name of my project. And if we have the session, then we simply attach us to this session. And you already know this command, this is Tmux attach -T and the name of our project. If we don't have this session, then we can create it. This is why we are using here Tmux new session, and here is the name with some configs. And after this we can use send keys command to create different tabs or do different things inside every tab. As you can see with this command we are creating new window, so this is new tab inside our project, and this is the name of my project, and here the name of my tab. And also we can do different things inside these tabs. For example, here we are sending command to open Vim editor inside my tab, which means it's not only creating tabs, but it can start web servers for you or maybe open editors, logs, and whatever you want. Now this is how it's typically look like. As you can see, I am just inside terminal and I am just hitting letter T, and bam, I'm inside my session, so all tabs are there. I can switch between these tabs. As you can see, here is my server, webhooks, shell, my Vim editor, whatever I want. And it is all predefined per project. This is why I simply jump to project, I'm hitting T, and my Tmux session is already there. As you can see, Tmux is a strong and versatile tool to improve your workflow with terminal. And also, if you're interested what editor I am using and how I configured it, don't forget to check this video also.